Hi everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hope you're all doing great. I just came back from a hectic day a short while ago. So Lauren will probably be doing most of the talking, right?
Shame, yes, so you can rest and think and
Collect my thoughts.
decompress.
I hope you're all doing great. We had a very successful day at Coburg today, so that's awesome. But yeah, it was
Successful means you're exhausted, right?
we had many successes. I mean,
That's
so
awesome.
yeah,
There's success
goals
happening
goals
everywhere.
reached. Yes. So I hope you're reaching all your goals. Welcome to the 70 people that are watching. This is an important one.
Yes, voters. We're talking about voters and voting statistics as well. And an interesting observation about voting. It's important that we get the voter turnout up. So I don't know how many of you watched the Gareth Cliff interview I did, me and Matthew. When was it? Long time ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. Monday, Tuesday, somewhere
I
around
can't
there.
remember.
It was
Our
Monday.
life is a
No, it was
blur at the
Tuesday.
moment.
Anyway, on Tuesday it happened, and then someone in the comments said that the problem with voting is that everyone votes, and this is a quote by Socrates. I don't know if Socrates said that. I never met Socrates. All these quotes are attributed to these famous dead people, but we don't
Yes.
actually know if they said it.
No.
But let's pretend he did say it. If Socrates said the problem with voting is that that everyone votes, then Socrates is wrong. I declare that a Greek philosopher is wrong. That's not the problem with voting. The problem with voting is that not everyone votes.
I'm putting the clock back right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Do so. So this is an interesting statistic which I'm trying to put out everywhere. Every time I get an opportunity to speak to the public, I declare this statistic. And that is 17 million people cast their votes in the 2019 national elections. And in 2019, 9 million people did not cast their vote. So 26 million were registered. 17 million voted. 9 million are registered and not voted. At the same time, about 9 million adults are eligible to register to vote and are not registered. So if you add both together, 9 million who did not vote, even though they are registered, and the 9 million who are not registered, it means 18 million didn't vote. It means that we have a million people more not voting than are voting. I
It's
don't
a
know.
few percentage
Do you
points.
understand the crisis?
It was like
though?
49.3% of eligible voters, eligible, not registered, eligible, voted. So for the first time, the majority was actually the non-voters. The non-voters won. That's the first time it ever happened.
Lana says a lot to speak to not voting blows my mind. So what can we do to change their minds? That's what we need to walk away from this live stream with.
You can't. It's not about criticizing those people. I have sympathy for them.
And understanding.
Yeah, understanding. Because you came up with an idea that makes it possible for people to want to vote again. And that's the whole point. Thanks, Sonia. That's the whole point, that you came up with something that people could believe in again. Many of the people here in this live stream weren't voting.
True.
And decided to vote now that they have a reason to vote. You should tell everyone about what happened today at some stage. Don't forget.
I will.
Because I think it ties in with what you're talking about.
It does. How
Lauren was bedorned earlier today. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I still have a headache.
Oh, only in the Western Cape, eh?
The Western Cape.
Yep.
How diplomatic must I be in my speakings for that topic?
Don't be. Go for it. Just let it rip.
I don't want
Mention
to
names and annihilate. That is the only way to
This is not a membership live stream, is it?
No, it's
not.
not.
An open live stream.
It's open.
Yes,
yeah.
Everybody. Anyway, honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for the kind words about the interview. I was actually expecting a very attacking interview. So I woke up that morning thinking, oh yeah, we go. Expecting an onslaught, but it actually went beautifully smoothly, and both the interviewers Jack and Gareth were very accommodating, open-minded, and sincere. It was
I
beautiful.
think they just like what they heard, okay? I think it's that simple. If they didn't like what they heard, I think they would have let you have it.
Probably.
Because I later went back to listen to the beginning, the first hour, and they were making a mockery within like the first 5 minutes.
They expected hippies. Please tell me
People
since...
with long hairs under their armpits. Ladies.
Well, let me not put my arms up. It's been a
Type
busy
of thing. That's what
season.
they said.
I don't know when organic and vegan became synonymous with each other. So let me just actually read the organic definition. And this is what I meant in the beginning.
But this just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't matter what you say
Yeah, I
it
know,
is
it's
or what the
people's
definition says it is.
Thingy. Denoting or characterized by a harmonious relationship between the elements of a whole, like the organic unity. That's one of the things. And then characterized by gradual or natural development. I mean, there's some very beautiful definitions of the word organic, but now people have made it synonymous with veganism. And I think this has actually been a huge obstacle to OHM's growth, I now realize. I mean, when I started OHM, I thought there's no ways I'm going to choose a typical party name, you know, like all the others. And in a sense, it's been great because a lot of people said they joined OHM because of that reason. But I think for the majority public out there, they just can't think out of the box. So that just makes it harder for us OHMies all to work at explaining what we're about.
And I actually warned you in
You
the
did.
beginning that it would happen and it would be severe. Because I understand human beings. I understand how they think, how they behave. And even if it's misplaced, it doesn't matter. That's how it is. And you have to overcome how it is. And if you're not in that mindset of overcoming how it is, you'll get nowhere because at the end you need lots of people to not be sheeple. And at the moment, when the majority of people are sheeple,
it's crazy.
Yes, you cannot work with them. So you need to create circumstances where you have people you can work with. And hopefully on this channel, Beyond Politics, we've achieved that to a degree where the majority of people on this channel are interested in knowledge, firstly, which helps. A sheeple doesn't want outside info or to discover things. Only on their own terms. They don't think of everything's I, me.
I think that's normal. It's human.
No, I think it's ingrained. I don't think it's normal. I think
so.
What is normal is discovery. I think that's what humans want to do. And the school system kills it.
That's true.
So the school system was very much necessary to create this generation of people that are happy to just stick with the status quo and not have change.
So this is the problem. Many people say, I'm not going to vote because there's no options.
There's 52 options on the ballot, national ballot.
And people also, I don't know, I haven't posted Durban's speech yet, but I actually I worked out if there's 40 million adults, because 30% of the population are usually minors. So if we have about 40 million adults that can vote, and we have less than 350 parties, but say 350 parties. If you divide that, then it means that each party could represent about 140,000 people. And I think in terms of representing a group of beliefs, I don't think that's unreasonable. That's not an unreasonable amount of parties. And then those parties are filtered by the contesting process. And then you choose from that. Okay, yeah, I can definitely explain the 3 current ballot papers.
Thanks, H.M. Kinnear.
It's very important to realize. So, okay, people are still asking me, and will probably continue to ask me, do you have an OHM candidate in my area? This is not local government elections, people. This is national and provincial. So it doesn't matter where our candidates come from in these elections, relatively.
Except for the regions now.
Yeah, but still it's very broad. So I don't want people asking me, do you have a candidate in Bloemfontein? Do you have a candidate
They'll keep on asking you that,
in
Lauren, out of ignorance.
No, it doesn't matter.
And it's your job to educate them.
Yes.
Which you're doing now.
And the IEC's job. And they're trying.
Oh,
You
well,
go harder.
they're actually saying the parties need to educate people.
Nonsense.
Their budgets have been cut.
Yeah. Okay, because their budgets have been
Yes,
cut. It's
so
not
that they can give the political parties in government more money.
But the parties in government don't want to educate the people because it's
No,
not in their best
they
interest. See the predicament.
They
we're
want
in.
less and less people to vote for them. The people
do.
that support them, they only want them to vote. They don't want the others to vote.
Oh, look, I made the pillow peek out.
That looks kind of cool.
So 3 ballots. One is for provincial government. OM is not contesting provincial government.
Because
Okay,
I want to
firstly,
do away with
Do you know that there are
provinces.
3 levels of government: local, provincial, and national? This is the government's way of making the government decentralized,
appear decentralized.
decentralized, but it doesn't work that way. Anyway,
Welcome to the 150 people watching. It's really wonderful.
we don't care so much about provincial governments. So much we don't care about it that in the manifesto there is no provincial government in our system. But anyway, you're going to get a provincial ballot. We're not on that ballot at all. We are on the other 2 ballots. We are on the national and the regional. Both the national and the regional, you are voting for MPs to go to parliament. With provincial, you are voting for provincial parliament. For national and regional, you're voting for National Assembly, which is parliament, the one you see on TV, where everyone acts like idiots. And in the National Assembly, that's just outright national. For the regional, there's 200 seats allocated to the national ballot, and there's 200 seats allocated to the regional. The regional ballot is where independents have space to run. So they've had to make provisions in the system to allow independents to also contest.
Which was a complete subversion.
So in that little regional section, there's going to be parties and independents together. And we're on both. So please, if you want to change the system, I would suggest you vote on both of those ballots.
I actually saw Corné Mulder agree with you on that, saying that this was a way for the ANC to become stronger. They were never going to allow it to make themselves weaker. So they actually made themselves stronger with the funding and with the way the votes are being allocated. So he agrees with you that it was a stuff up. It should have never happened like that.
Who was he interviewed by? Oh, SMX something.
Yeah, there's
Too many letters.
many people recently.
I was actually pleasantly surprised. I haven't watched the whole interview, but the first 2 minutes I watched, I was pleasantly surprised to hear, for a change, rationality. A rational mind.
Yeah, the one thing Corné Mulder said is there is no constitution. There's only the current constitution, which means it can change.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
No, Rosalind, it's illegal for anyone. It is illegal for anyone, especially if you're a member of a party, to encourage the spoiling of ballots. We have to encourage people to vote.
Yeah.
And I have 2 strategies for voting. You either vote for, you look at everyone who is currently represented in that body, in your provincial government, and you vote for any of the bottom 3 that most closely aligns with you. Or you vote for a brand new party, one of the 2. So that's going to be my strategy, because I'm definitely going to vote.
Yeah, you should absolutely vote on the provincial ballot.
I actually know who I'm voting for. I'm not going to tell you.
That's fine. I'll figure it out. And the thing is, Lauren's not going to tell you to vote for.
No.
Yeah, you should strategically work it out, because that's what people are going to have to do in the new system.
And we're here with this live stream specifically. I want to empower everyone sitting here with the statistics to empower other people to go and vote, people who usually would not. So if people want a different government, all the non-voters should vote, and there you have it.
It'll happen
instantly.
The ANC is just getting, with their good elections, 30-something% of the able voters, registered voters. They're only getting 30% of the registered voters, not eligible. I think in the last national election was like 32% of the registered voters. That's the support they have. So of the people that voted, they got over 50%. But if you look at those people that are registered to vote, they're in the 30s. They don't have a majority at all. And they're trying to make it look like they do. The DA is so pathetic. I mean, if you actually look at the real percentage that they represent out of eligible voters, it's shocking. Go and do the calculations.
We can do the calculations a bit later.
We can.
So Like what I was saying about Socrates being wrong, the problem with our system is that not everyone is voting.
Yeah,
If
we need more
everyone-
people to vote.
If everyone hypothetically voted, different parties would absolutely be in power. And I think the share would be more evenly dispersed in parliaments, even in this shocking system that we have. To be an observer, I'm going to actually contact the volunteers very soon about that. I'm not exactly sure of the process. In the past, the party puts forward the names in the different VDs. I'm not sure how it's going to work in this time around. Before 1994, there were no
people
parties.
were volunteers. The mayors were volunteers. They weren't even paid a salary.
Yeah.
I know the one boy in my class, his dad was the mayor of Paul.
I can
He just got a stipend
I
for
can foresee
attending meetings.
some problems with that.
I'm not saying it should be like that. That's how it was.
Here's another thing. Yes, Karen, you will. As a pensioner, should I apply for permission to vote on the 27th or 28th to avoid long queues? No. Okay, for special votes, you have to be infirm or pregnant. So you must be unable to move. You can't just be old. You have to also be disabled. So yeah, the best advice would be go as early as possible. We've never experienced long queues, but I know some people have. Also, just make sure you know where you are registered to vote. So there's actually so many things.
People do need to apply if they're voting in a different place to where they're registered. You need to apply. There's a deadline for that.
The 7th of May, if I'm not mistaken.
So you go to elections.org.za and you can just look at the main list of things. But the one thing they're driving right now, in fact, I'll give you a link to it. I have so many people asking me for links, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to type in and find that thing for you. You could have done it yourself. Candidates, vote at another voting station, notice section 24A. Click.
I think
there you go.
Elections.org.za needs to become your friend.
Yeah, people should be familiar with it, especially if you believe in democracy. They give you all the updates there that you need. The IC is actually very good at doing updates. But there you go. So you can follow that link and then go and apply to vote elsewhere. So if you're in a different province or away for work or whatever, overseas is obviously a different story.
David says, imagine there could be 52 observers if each party sends one. Technically, each party is allowed to send two, actually. So then there'd be over 100, and that's absolutely possible. And the more people that observe, the more transparent the system is. So again, this just proves in a democracy, the more active the citizens, the better the democracy. Even if it's a multi-party democracy, it'll be a better democracy.
So no democracy or no system is perfect.
I realized something about the Greeks. They had advanced to a point where they were sick and tired of conquering. They just wanted to chill at home and eat grapes and drink wine and have fun and enjoy their lives and watch the kids grow up. And what had happened is that the rest of the world had not progressed. And that's why the empire fell.
Yeah, the thing is, there was no more empire. They came up with this brilliant democratical system, which doesn't exist anywhere in the world at the moment. I mean, the way they did it, I mean, they had sortition. Remember?
The Athenians had
the Athenians, So within Greece, they came up with these democratic systems. And then other people conquered them. They forgot that you still need a strong border and a strong army to be a deterrent to other people.
Thanks, David, for applying for your leave to go and vote for us. Please send us a snapshot or something.
Please. That'll be awesome.
It'll be great. So it can go down in history. Oh, something exciting's happening. I got a phone call from a bookshop who supplies books to libraries, and they've asked for 10 copies of a manifesto. It's going to go to all the university libraries for the history records, and I think that's super cool.
Something I want to mention that's on my mind and I keep on forgetting is the other day when I Googled Organic Humanity Movement, Wikipedia popped up for the first time. So someone went and actually populated a short section that they probably got from the website on Wikipedia. And it's in Afrikaans and you can translate it into English. But that lot needs to be expanded. And I don't think people directly involved are allowed to do it. I'm not exactly sure how Wikipedia works. But I think that can certainly help if people help to expand on Wikipedia, because most people trust how the information is actually put out there.
So I think the biggest problem with our democracy is that people don't understand democracy.
Yeah.
So
Many actually don't believe in it.
who are more in the know need to actually work harder, even before we've mentioning Ohm, at explaining the principles of democracy. So that's a lot of work, I guess, but it's important.
Yeah. People need to understand what a democracy is. I think a lot of people is okay with a democracy where you just go and vote and let other people do things for you. Parliament should decide who the president is for you. A party should decide who the people they shortlist to go to parliament is, etc. Less for them to do. And that is how you lose your power.
But like you also said, you think most people actually don't believe in democracy.
No, they don't.
They believe in theocracy.
Correct. They believe in theocracy. In other words, all of them believe very soon there will be no more government and something or someone else will be governing the earth. And a lot of people have been hoping for that for
I actually can't wait for us to continue
thousands of years, in fact.
on our religious discussions when the elections are over.
Oh,
because I've actually, a few things have absolutely clicked in my mind about religion and our progress as a humanity. And it's frightening. And to mix politics and religion is probably one of the biggest threats to our progress in the world.
Yeah.
You have the freedom to have
Yes.
your religious and spiritual beliefs and to worship.
And it should be protected.
Absolutely. But it should not interfere with government.
No.
And most people, so we have an 85% or 83, 84, I can't remember, percent Christians in this country. That's a lot. That's a huge number. And unfortunately,
people that say they are Christian on the census, yeah.
Religious bias gets in the way with rationality. And it's not even scriptural religion.
Oh, thanks, Marlene.
It is what is preached at the pulpit. It's a man's interpretation of a mistranslation of previous historical records of what happened many, many years ago. So it's we have a crisis. We have the wrong mentality in the country. And if you look at the advanced nations and how they govern and compare it to South Africa, it's very different. But still, there's nowhere in the world where I think we're going to do things the way Ohm has outlined, where there's maximum freedom and strong borders and sovereignty combined. Yes. Yeah. I think that's very special.
So my hair stands on end when people say things like whoever that is, must bring God back into the school. Now, which God I would want to ask them? And they never specify whoever they are. And it's frightening because I remember when I was in school and everyone in my class were Christian, including myself, because I was raised Christian. And people would argue in Bible class, have massive arguments with poor Bible teacher. And I ended Bible class and said, we're not having any more Bible class. From the time I was 16 years old, we did homework in that class time. Mr. Burger would sit there and read his book. We walked into the class and we did our thing. And there was no more Bible class because I told him that he's talking the biggest load of crap in his face and proved him wrong out of the book he had in his hand. And he didn't know what to say after that. So I just said, don't assume that you know everything because you're a Bible teacher. And don't come and teach your rubbish beliefs, not Christian, rubbish beliefs in this class.
Love it.
Because what you're teaching is the doctrine of some dude that came up with it while sleeping under a tree somewhere after a special golden bird shat on his head or something. Sorry, but I just had to bring that out. I'm so sick and tired. If the amount of people I have heard say, I had a dream and I was called to do XYZ. I said, go ahead and fulfill your calling, whatever that might be.
We dream.
Don't tell me what to do because of your dream. Please, don't tell me what to do. If you are that important, you will be able to influence everyone else in some godlike manner. Really. So no, I don't fall for twat like that, and I'm sick and tired of it, to be honest.
What an impassioned speech from you that I was not expecting.
That was very tame.
Okay. So yes, dreams. But what were we saying? Democratic principles. So I think, with Ohm, I've just flew off expecting and assuming people have at least my understanding of things, at least. Meaning that I believe most people had a
very
bigger
bad
understanding.
assumption, yeah.
But what we need to do, actually, I even want to ask you guys here, the 194 watching, what are your thoughts on democracy? Do you think democracy is a good form of government? And if not, what do you suggest as an alternative? And these questions we need to take to the broader public.
This is so important because I have people often saying this, but democracy is bad for you. It's bad for the country. And then when I ask them, so what is your grand plan? That's the end of the discussion. Because it's easy to sit on the other end behind a keyboard or phone and shout something out, hidden behind some freaking pseudonym, because the people aren't willing to expose themselves.
That annoys me, Lars.
Yeah. And all the YouTube channels that came into existence off the back of this one, and there's many of them, they are starting to feel the heat and see what you have to go through. And I never moaned and bitched about it because that's what you have to live with. People contacting you saying the daftest things to you, the craziest people you can imagine, phoning you with their plans. And I would normally say, but why don't you implement your plan? Just implement it. Create your platforms, if it's that good, and implement your plan. Why must you speak to me? I am totally irrelevant to your plan or your dream or whatever the case may be. Totally irrelevant.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End of story.
I also don't understand that phenomenon. Yeah. But anyway, when it comes to democracy, and not just democracy, many topics actually, I feel like people do a lot of talking and very little thinking. Because then when you start to ask probing questions, all of a sudden they disappear. And I think it's important, especially those promoting OHM, you do have to get people who don't vote specifically to think about democracy. Someone here, Mark says democracy is an illusion. Elections is selections. Well, do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah.
I actually came to a conclusion. I bought another notebook at the airport.
Did you finish writing that one up as well?
No, I have not finished. But I thought to myself, I don't want to make a statement unless I'm able to write an essay on that statement first. And I think if people took that philosophy, you would have a lot less stupidity circulating in the world.
Very low IQ, high stupidity. And you can have a high IQ and be
I
stupid.
don't think it's about IQ at all. I think it's just about emotions and ego coming together and creating a mess. So,
I think of guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla fighters that come out, cause havoc, and then go back and hide. That's basically what's happening on social media with many people. I mean, I'm exposed.
Here's
you are
another
exposed.
problem. Okay, so here's the problem.
Everyone knows who we are.
I know. But here's another problem. I haven't told you yet. So it's a problem, and maybe the person's even listening, and sorry if you're offended, not sorry. But this is the mentality that's wrong with our entire democratic process that we have in this country. The person asked me, quickly, can you just explain why something is bad? Because I have told people on this group it's bad, and now they're asking me questions. It's something to do with comprehensive sexuality education. So, I'm the expert on it, but, you shouldn't be saying something because we said so.
No. We have said so many times, say something because you've researched what we have said, come to your own conclusion, speak from your own conviction. That is, you should never say something in my name or in Lauren's name or anyone else's name. It's psychotic to do that.
Or form an opinion.
Yeah, it's crazy. You say I'm wrong to say people are psychotic, right?
No, I think we need to properly grasp what psychosis is. I mean, I'd rather say they're immature or they're acting before.
Does it have a proper punchline?
No.
Then it has zero impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. Okay. So that's the thing. We have majority of people that aren't voting, and we have
the majority.
Elections.
That statement, it just dawned on me. Mm-hmm. We have a majority of people that's not voting.
Okay, it dawned on me.
Flip.
It dawned on me in Durban. It dawned on me in Durban when I gave the speech of the code of conduct thing. That the big parties that are here in government, they don't want the public to realize that the majority of people don't vote. No. They want to keep it hush-hush.
Aren't interested in them.
Yes.
At all. Don't support them. At all. don't believe in the system. So many polls that have been done say now people don't believe in the system and that it would work for them.
But then I want to know what they believe, specifically individually, what the alternative is. And if there's
Well,
someone,
good luck.
if there's
You'll
someone,
be busy in a gazillion years' time still asking people questions.
because they won't answer.
That's why you need leadership, someone
Yeah.
to spearhead something.
Yeah, Andrew says they rely on people to not vote. They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. Because we can do the calculations, because if you plus 17 million by 18 million and you divide everyone's votes into that, it's looking very, very dismal.
I can tell you now, they want a low voter turnout now because the lower voter turnout gives the ANC a grimmer picture. Because the more people vote, the more people vote for the African National Congress. So the DA doesn't want a massive voter turnout. They want a massive voter turnout for them, not for the others. So they do not believe in democracy. You know, anyone that says something like that does not believe in democracy. Someone that says that you shouldn't vote for a new party or a smaller party or popcorn party do not believe in democracy. John Steenhuisen does not believe in democracy. It's that simple. He might think that he does, but it's democracy according to him, not real democracy. You should go look at the definition. And I mean, I think he's going to end up in trouble.
Yeah.
Serious trouble.
Yeah. Yep.
He's sounding more like a dictator, doesn't he?
Absolutely. A scared one. A scared dictator.
Yeah.
Moni's asking Lauren, why did you blow your top today? I didn't actually blow my top today, but it was a horrible situation. I did too, thanks to our local blue party. With
you can tell him what you felt like doing.
Anyway, let's get to what happened. So I've been going around the country in a number of provinces, going to sign the code of conduct on behalf of each region. It's getting pretty tedious. I still have to do Joburg next week, because it's the same. It's more or less the same agenda every time. And it's about, I don't know how many hours. It's from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, more or less. Actually, sometimes it goes to 2 or 2:30 because people talk a lot. And I don't do well with sitting still. That's why I don't know how I'm going to handle Parliament if we get there. Sitting still at a desk, listening to people.
You're not going to last long. You're going to resign very soon, and then the others can take over.
I don't know. Anyway.
My prediction, people.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah.
I think I'm more resilient.
You need to make the first speech, at least.
Of course. Just wrap things, you know.
Yes. Then I'll make things really nice at home so that you don't want to go back there.
Oh, you're going to miss me?
Of course.
Shame. So what happened? Oh, no, Sonia, there are lots of ANC posters. Oh, in Gauteng. No, I saw them in other places. I'm forgetting where I am these days. So Cape Town's code of conduct signing was today. And there are...
Oh, no, full. The parliamentarians, the people in Parliament is still active, so they fly for free.
Where did you see
that? Yeah. So the parties in Parliament now, they have free flights.
Oh, yes. I'm using our bank account, people. Ohm's bank account for our plane tickets.
Yeah.
So I was in Durban yesterday, Cape Town today. So at each code of conduct signing, I've gone to East London. I've gone to
Gauteng,
the national one. And I've gone to
East London,
KZN, Durban.
Cape Town, you've been to 2 meetings already.
We've had a candidate do the one for Northern Cape. We've had candidates do the one for Limpopo. We're still waiting for Free
How many
State.
flags? 3 flags.
We missed Northwest. So Gauteng's tomorrow. And we missed
Gauteng
in Mpumalanga.
tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, next week. And in Mpumalanga we missed as well. So we had to send apologies to 2 places. No, Audrey, unfortunately, I couldn't go to Mpumalanga. It was happening at the same time as one of the others. So at each of these things, all parties are given about 2 minutes to speak. You're not allowed to campaign, but it's a speech in which you can pledge to uphold the code of conduct, but no manifesto talk. And anyway, I've been doing that. Fine. Today, I rock up, code of conduct, fun. And there we are all sitting in our tables, like the same protocol as all the others. And then they have 2 interesting speakers. First, Janet Love. And it would do you well to go Google her history, and I'll leave it at that. Like one of the IEC commissioners, Janet Love.
Very much in line with my last Zoom to the members. Okay. That I did upload to YouTube, and I'm still not banished. Yes.
Oh, you uploaded it.
I did.
I'm shivering in my boots. Then LB Sachs spoke for like an hour.
There's a link between the two of those.
And LB Sachs, if you don't know who he is a freedom fighter, if you can call him that, a liberator.
What do you consider him now?
The same. But anyway, he basically gave an anti-Ohm speech, like point for point. Everything he said is literally the opposite of what's in our manifesto. And I was absolutely disgusted. I was just nauseated. And I was like, this couldn't have been planned better. But I feel like the entire ideology that has controlled politics is the exact opposite of the ideology Ohm is trying to bring into civilization, in South Africa at least. But he spoke about having his arm blown up. He spoke about his terrible time in prison. So he did a brilliant job at drawing the audience in through emotion. Brilliant.
In true Bavarian Illuminati style.
It's just true psychology.
Yeah.
So you say
The
something
ultimate psychology
that gets people to feel sorry for you and believe in your cause. And then he spoke about the suffering, the inequality, apartheid, because everyone can agree apartheid was awful. The fact that people are separated, mixed races can't marry each other. I mean, like people from opposite races can't marry each other, etc.
Thanks, Claudette. Thanks so much.
So he finds that unity point that everyone can agree on, and then feel sorry for him, and then tell stories that make it real. And then he goes on to explain the system that he was part of developing and the constitution he was part of writing, but specifically also the political system he was part of developing. And he explained in depth, trying to, in my opinion, what he was trying to do is get buy-in for how the system is now. That's what it seemed like to me.
Like Frans Cronje is doing that deeply at the moment.
I wish I recorded it. I don't know if it's on SABC or something, but the media was there. And anyway, he spoke about how they deliberately, for the greater good, made sure that the president would be elected in parliament, not by the people. And the reasoning was that if the president's elected in parliament, it means the parliament can vote out the president if the president doesn't do his job right. But he's absolutely wrong, because you can have the people voting the president and you can still have those measures. You can still have those measures in place. You can still have an impeachment process. So he's lying to the people outright. He's deceiving them.
But when they're licking his feet afterwards?
They were. Oh my word. Everyone was just applauding him. They gave him a standing ovation, like the party leaders. A lot of party leaders gave him a standing ovation. And a lot of people were like shaking his hand and hugging him and just worshipping him almost. But that's not all. He spoke about the party political system. He did say, interestingly, that the very next elections, they were supposed to change the political system a little bit. And that did not happen. But he was already out of that discussion.
Yeah, the Van Zyl Slabbert report spoke about things that needs to be done, the shortcomings and the problems. And it was just shelved. Because everyone saw, this is wonderful. We can really be powerful like this. Why change it?
So, yeah, I basically listened to an hour on anti-Ohm ideology. And I feel like...
Zionist 101.
Yeah,
yes,
pretty
basically.
much.
Let's just call it what it is.
I think the most disturbing thing for me is to see people just not worship him, but like really admire him. And I can understand maybe from the perspective of suffering for apartheid's cause, but you need to dig a bit deeper when it comes to that. And I actually think, if everyone has to watch his speech, how many people would actually say no, but the system needs to stay the same? I wonder how many people would be convinced of that. And we are trying to change it completely.
And for good reason.
For very good reason.
Now stuff him.
For
He's
freedom.
a freaking idiot.
And then, he's a current acting constitutional court judge. And that is terrifying. Someone that doesn't believe in freedom.
The fact that he still serves there and makes statements like that is frightening.
It is frightening.
Because it means he's saying that is how it should remain. When the changing of the constitution was built in for a reason.
Yeah.
They made it difficult, but they made it possible.
Okay, Karen saying DA are ward councillors and so many.
LB Sachs, TK.
Oh, TK.
Yeah.
But further up, there are ward councillors, and so many say, don't vote for new small parties because it will dilute the vote, and those other
How does it
parties
dilute the
are
vote?
more susceptible to corruption, so to speak.
The DA, if I have to give you a lecture on how much corruption there is in the DA, I will be talking for days. The whole premise of how the DA works is corrupt.
But that's why the system has to change.
Yeah.
Anyone's
Because it's
susceptible.
anyone in the system. But I mean, they're really good at it.
But there's no such thing as a small party.
Mhm.
There's newer parties.
The parties that were in parliament, they became smaller. Those are small parties.
Those are small
Yeah,
parties.
there's many of them. Like
Yeah.
Cope had many seats at one stage. Many.
A gang.
They were a gang, endless.
PAC as well.
And then
Brilliant.
they all just became tiny.
Smaller. They reduced in size.
Yes.
We are emerging parties.
New parties.
We are new and emerging
But
parties.
I've noticed more people are using that now. New parties.
New and emerging parties, and it's very exciting.
What
and it's
we are
very
doing
important.
works.
It's very important to understand that. And we don't. New emerging parties do not have the same resources as those in parliament, and that's one of the most undemocratic things that exist right now. Is that we don't have those resources.
It's not that that new parties should be given the resources that
the other
ones
parties should not
that should
have
be
them.
taken away.
Yes.
They shouldn't get taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
And especially now before the elections, they were given millions extra. Basically because the ANC wanted it.
Okay, people believe the diluting thing. Okay, this is very important. They believe that the small parties dilute the vote.
How?
That is not a democracy.
Yeah, explain to me mathematically how that is possible. Because if you're not voting for the African National Congress, if you want them out, okay? Say no, you want them out. I actually want the DA out more, out of existence than any other party, including the EFF. The DA, to me, currently is the most dangerous party in the country because they will effectively screw our freedom over.
Fast.
Fast.
Very fast.
Yeah. Without thinking twice.
Yeah, they really love the international community.
Well, they are working for them. What else are they doing?
So, these are, I suppose, heavy topics for a walk by conversation, democracy, sovereignty. But these are discussions we need to have.
What they don't say is it's diluting their power. That's what it's doing. Okay. It's not.
So they literally are employing less people in their administration.
Yeah.
They had to let a lot of people go.
And they're going to lose many seats in parliament. I can't see the DA growing. If you look at most of the polls, they are so screwed. It's not even funny. Because the majority of parties that were formed was to get rid of the DA, not the ANC.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Martelian, very good comment here. When I look at the results of the current political system, it is obvious that the system is a failure.
Yeah.
The only answer is change the system.
Correct.
And this is what we need to drive home to everybody, that democracy isn't bad. Democracy is good. Democracy needs to be applied better. Any alternative to democracy will be tyranny. Therefore, we need to hold on to it and improve it. And that we do through system change.
Yeah, David, I agree. That's the first thing I said to Lauren. A serving judge should not be speaking on behalf of a party in an election. I think, Sachs was standing up for all the parties like the ANC, the DA, and everyone that benefits from the current constitution.
No, David, he wasn't standing up for ANC. So we did the event in the Dulce September Hall, and she obviously lost her life through the apartheid government, and he was a comrade with her. Their paths crossed during the struggle, and that's why he was invited as an honorary speaker to just set the tone for the somber reverence for our democracy and how far we've come, how many lives were lost, etc.
But anyone that thinks that you cannot change the constitution, like Corne Mulder said, that you only have the current constitution. There is no the constitution.
Yeah, I feel very, very true. The Oppenheimers are hedging the hearts in the way. Their DA bets by funding new parties. Those new parties,
very, very well said, Phil.
If parties are getting media coverage consistently, then no, there's some kind of agenda.
So the Oppenheimers are funding Rise Mzansi. They're funding BOSA. They're funding Action SA.
Yeah.
And the DA.
Yeah.
In a big way. BOSA has gotten the smallest share, but I mean, it's millions. Millions. If OM had millions funded from the ground, from citizens, imagine what OM could do.
Actually, one of our candidates and members and area activators said just that. That she couldn't believe that a specific party, one of their campaigns were like $500 million. And she said, like, what? Imagine the good OM would do, and that alone would be the campaign.
Yeah.
The good we do for the community would be the campaign, instead of doing these fancy events where everyone's like paid to be there
And
as
shooting
extras.
cannon confetti into the sky and whatnot. And I remember Jordan Lewis telling me how much one of the events cost. It was something like 20 million rand. Yeah. Just for getting people there and the basics. It actually costs a lot more overall. That's a DA event. 20 million. So this is what they think of the suffering people in the country. They want power. I mean, when I spoke to Helen Zille, Helen told me we need more power.
Fritas ZA is asking, I'd rather have a DA around Cape Town than someone else. Fritas is new. He asked another question, why is DA bad? We were in the DA, both Des and I as members and activists, and I worked for them. I worked also with the city of Cape Town. So we have our experiences, but ultimately, if you have to really summarize it, we don't like the direction the country's going. So whether you're looking at National ANC, whether you're looking at DA Western Cape, all of them are promoting the National Development Plan and the IDPs for local municipalities, the Integrated Development Plan, which is mirrored after the United Nations Agenda 21, and we don't agree with it.
It's a police state. They're implementing a police state. And some people might like that. You might even like that. I don't want to live in a place where I'm monitored, tracked, and traced morning, noon, and night.
So I say something that people sometimes like their eyes go big. I'd rather have dangerous freedom than safe tyranny.
Absolutely.
Day.
And most people in the stream feel the same way.
So I actually explained this to...
I don't mind potholes as much as I mind a plane flying over my house with a camera watching it all the time.
I explained
because that's what's happening right now.
I explained to a dad about how my kids almost got accosted by law enforcement for fishing in a dam, and how I feel like, things are getting out of hand with regards to the control. And he was like, I'd rather have their presence and deal with that than not have their presence. And I honestly said to him, well, I'd rather deal with criminals than be controlled by the government. Because you should have the right to defend yourself. This is why in OM's manifesto, one of the most important things is having the right to defend yourself, not waiting for SAPs to come and save you, but you have the right to defend yourself. But in the system, that basically means that you need to do everything you can to be as strong and have as much intelligence as you can about your community and your surroundings. And you have to really get mentally fit and physically fit. And if you're unable to be physically fit, you need to make the right connections with people around you so that you can be protected by them. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you want to be free, it's a lot of responsibility. And the stronger you are, the freer you are. The freer you are from danger. So how do you protect yourself from danger in a free system? You get stronger. That's it. Phil Borter says Big Daddy Liberty said he wants to interview OM. When? Make it happen.
We've both met with Cecily.
I didn't even speak to him about OM. Des met with him. I was shopping for the kids. We were at Century City, and I was like, hi. And then that's it. We didn't go into
a
OM
bit of a
conversation.
chat. No, but you had a chat.
Did we talk about OM?
No, not about
No, we didn't talk about No, I spoke about my experience in the DA because he was also with them, right?
He was in the DA, also in exactly the same, and he left them.
Yeah, so we both left them. So we spoke about that only. And then I haven't seen him or spoken to him since. So it'll be great if we interview him. Do you know where he's based? Because I'm trying to combine a few at the same time.
So OM is a party to end parties. To get rid of parties. Just explain.
I love that one.
Yeah, they are all cuck. I'll say it for you.
Thank
you. Explain to him why OM exists, just briefly, so he understands that OM wants to get rid of parties.
We do. We want to be the party to end all parties, including OM itself. So We want to end the multi-party system as stated in the Constitution. That's why changing the democratic system through the Electoral Act is not enough. You have to do it at a constitutional level because the Constitution states it's a multi-party system. We believe the multi-party system is what is oppressing South Africa, holding us back from moving forward as a country so we can be sovereign and stand against international threats. So in order to change the multi-party system, you change the Constitution. In order to change the Constitution, we need a 70% majority in Parliament. How do we do that? Not by us.
Not OM doesn't need
Not
a 70%.
OM having
75%, by the way.
And not by making coalitions either. We are literally going to one by one approach all the MPs that are there with us. And with new parties, new emerging parties coming in, we believe that we can get that.
I believe with MK specifically, they'll benefit the most from an OM system at this stage. Well, many others will, even the PA.
Yes.
Gate and McKenzie, people like him.
So the changes, we have a manifesto. You can go read the manifesto, om.org.za. Maybe someone can type it in. Des can type it in. We explain the changes we want to take place. So what will happen is that the voters will vote directly for the presidential candidates and all the other candidates. And there will be processes to make sure that the process is transparent and accountable and by far better than the current democratic system we have now. So we are moving through the changes we want to make into a much improved democratic system, which will allow South Africa to prosper and strengthen so that we can become perhaps a superpower in this world. Like I like to say, a benevolent superpower.
There's a link to the OM manifesto, so you can click on that link and then you can.
And then in that system, I'm going to run for president.
So Lauren will run for president in the new system,
Absolutely.
not in the current system.
Well,
you can't. No one can. When people say I'm running for president, twak, there's no such thing. You cannot run for president currently. It's a complete farce. How is that a democracy?
If you observe, so I just want to say to Vonnie, if you observe any rule breaking, you can individually contact your local IEC office to report it. Whether they do something about it, I don't know, but you can report it. Take a picture if you can as well.
No, in Cape Town, the Freedom Front Plus has one poster facing this way and the one facing the other way. I don't even bother with it, really. It doesn't matter to me. To go and fight other parties. OM isn't there to fight other parties. OM is there to change the system.
Do we need permission to set up a campaign gazebo? I think it depends. In a municipal park. In a park. I don't know. I'd say just do it.
And you are publicly allowed to campaign.
Yeah, go for it. You know what you need a permission for? Marches and demonstrations.
Yes, correct.
Are we marching? No, we're not.
No.
So just go for it.
You can put up the gazebo.
And don't block the flow of
people
traffic
where they walk or whatever.
Whether it's pedestrian or vehicle traffic.
Yeah, and don't shout and scream at people. They can approach you.
Yeah, or make a noise, an excessive noise.
Yeah, so Marlene, maybe that PowerPoint, what is that for?
What?
Speakers and noise.
What?
Marlene was saying about 40 days to get access to a PowerPoint in a park. Noise nuisance, anyone can complain.
Forgiveness is easier to get than permission. Love that. And again, my kids, we took them to the Penguin Beach on my birthday, and it was like, do not climb over the barrier, 500 Rand fine. And then my boys were like, oh, it's just 500 Rand to go chill with the penguins. It only
costs a very
different
way of thinking.
Yeah, love it. That's what I love about homeschooled kids.
Yeah, Phil, absolutely. Parties campaign against each other. OM has no campaigning against other parties. The DA is probably the biggest threat to the values and principles of OM. And they can change. I mean, someone else can walk in there and change things completely. And if they do, that'll be great. But that's not the case right now.
Is there a social media campaign plan? No, there's just lots of social media being posted.
Yeah, all the time. And people are sharing and doing it. So the plan is on the go.
Oh, Dirk, Sikhlo said he'll travel the country to speak to party leaders. Does he know elections are in 40 days? I think he needs to be told. Elections are round the corner.
Yeah, this couple is anti-New World Order.
Yeah,
this new order they want to create.
Thanks for the compliment, Karen.
So, the moment you say New World Order, channel gets...
The tag.
Yeah, the tag gets put underneath the video. But it's really awesome that over 200 people have been watching this live stream, it's really awesome that you are making the time and caring enough to do this. But we need to do a lot more in the last 40 days. And I think fundraising is a huge part of it. And I've committed to give another 1,000 Rand to Ohm when I get my next payment. Yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yes. I know it's not a lot, but it's something.
The posters should be.
I drive a lot for Ohm and stuff, you know.
I know you do. Thank you. The posters should be arriving soon. So everyone that's collecting posters should get them soon, and then we'll get our Cape Town ones probably Monday. And then the flyers will also be ready next week. I'm so excited about that.
Thanks.
So it's happening. I'm telling everybody
Okay.
because donations are here, and then we're waiting for the gazebo packages still.
Someone must register a political party and call it New World Order.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll probably get lots of votes.
Yeah, they might.
So the organic humanity movement part, how many of you found it problematic when you heard it for the first time and thought it was vegan or something?
Yes, please be honest here.
This is nothing against vegans, please.
Yeah, who had a problem with the Ohm name? Organic humanity movement.
Or thought it was a hippie movement or whatever, because Gareth and them, they were shocked when they actually realized that Ohm is a serious movement. Yeah. And Ohm is the resistance, as Gareth rightfully said at the beginning.
Yeah, so that's a huge hurdle. So our previous logo was an enormous hurdle.
Massive.
We removed that. So I can't imagine changing Ohm's name, but we need to definitely keep it in mind.
We need to focus on Ohm, the resistance.
The name itself is a huge hurdle in people's minds.
Yeah, it is. Although the name is perfect for what is happening and what we
heart's
represent.
In the way. I need someone to say something because his heart's in the way. Ohm, are you campaigning on the roads and put up? Yes, we will for him. So very soon we will be putting up posters. Probably by next weekend, the posters will be going up.
Yeah, Ohm on its own is a good name. Absolutely.
Ohm is a good name.
Yeah.
I think. Ohm is a good name, I think. So yes, for him, I don't know where you are. We have 1,000 posters for the entire country. We might print another 1,000.
Yeah, full also. You see, it's wasted energy, in my opinion. It's if Ohm wants to achieve its goals, you can't have hurdles like that. It's just when I listen to Gareth and Jack discuss what they thought it was at the beginning, they said, I think we have the organic part of pat.
And in that sense, it's good. But when you're trying to win elections, then it's not so good. I'm concerned that we are so focused on our elections while who have their vote on the 27th of May to enact their power grab.
Yeah.
The president is the only one who can within the stipulated objection window. But that's why it's so important to vote for Ohm so that we can accelerate our progress here. Oh, Carol says, I thought it was big time new age, so it took me a while to get involved and committed. But now it makes sense since I've got to know you two and the other members. And, as far as the members go, we have all religions and new age and no religion. And I love that about the diversity.
As Buddhists you can get.
As Engels as
you can get. The whole shebang.
Everything.
Yeah. From all the Nguni cultures you can think of. Ohm is really a broad spectrum of people because the values and principles of Ohm unite everyone. So the country can be united under those values and principles.
For him asking, isn't it too late for the posters for the masses? No, actually, we have a month. By the time we put it up, it'll be like a month and a half, a week. I feel like people will actually
more effective.
Pay attention because they've been seeing the same faces over and over again.
Yeah.
Getting
a
sick
lot
of
the other posters are destroyed. Completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Posters don't get people to vote for you.
A few.
Lauren, statistically, I can tell you it is like a money peeing contest to see how many posters you can put up.
Yeah.
I mean, how many DA posters do you have to see in a row? Does that force you to vote for the DA? Come on. Awareness, that's what it does. It creates awareness. So people know about Ohm.
We're not genetically modified. Ohm is pure. Yes.
So to me, posters create awareness. And especially in by-elections, you should put posters all over the place. Once you have a lot, I mean, in a by-election, you put 2,000 posters up every lamp post. Say, we are here, people.
Jean says, no one has asked me if we're vegan. Spoke to hundreds during signatures. Not once did it come out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we have those different experiences.
At the end of the day, what you need to do is create a change in the narrative. Once the mainstream people know what it's about, it won't be an issue anymore. But it's definitely it has been a huge hurdle up until now, and will be in future. Once it's in the mainstream and people know what OM stands for, carry a gun,
yeah, nuclear
defend
power.
yourself. No issue.
We want to actually deconstruct nuclear power soon. It's necessary.
Yeah, I think it's super important.
Some people are very scared of nuclear power.
I'm not a supporter of nuclear energy. It is the logical thing to do. So this is something that people need to really understand. I've written articles where I remember on News 24 that went viral back in the day when one could still do it, speaking about the nuclear Nuremberg. That there could be a nuclear Nuremberg, that future generations might not want nuclear power and might hold older generations to account for building nuclear power stations. And that is just something that people would have to face.
We'll discuss it on a different. It'll take 2 full hours.
Yeah.
Debunking the myth. I think you've done it many times before, but
yeah,
again, because OM specifically said that.
But the one thing I need to say is no nuclear power station can explode like an atom bomb. Okay, so there is no such thing. Fukushima and Chernobyl were old designs. They should have shut all of those plants down, and they have around the world now. Shut those old designs down. Things like that cannot happen at a place like Koeberg or any of the other pressurized water reactors. People get on planes every single day. I just want to say this, okay? There's millions of flights happening, and there's hundreds of plane crashes that have taken place where everyone lost their lives.
Yeah.
People still flying planes.
Don't
How many nuclear accidents has there been that has killed loads of people? You're going to battle to justify your fear of nuclear based on evidence. You're really going to battle with that. And all the other fear-mongering around it, you need to understand that if you improve a technology and make it better because you invest in it, it only gets better. And it's not expensive. It is the cheapest technology available. Because once you've built it, it's like buying a Rolls Royce. It's going to run for decades. There's some power stations being extended to 80 years now. From 40 to 60, like at Koeberg, and now to 80, because the infrastructure is that strong. So Koeberg is a cash cow for Eskom. They're just making loads of money out of Koeberg because it was paid off after 20 years. 20 years to pay it off. Okay? It took time. And after that, it's just making in the money. And it was running at 40 cents a kilowatt hour. When the coal-fired power stations were running at 60 to 80 cents a kilowatt hour. And the wind turbines were running at 10 rand a kilowatt hour. So, people, come on. And then if you look at the toxic footprint of wind turbines and solar panels, it far exceeds that of nuclear. You cannot compare it. So, technically, if you look at facts and you don't use biased fear that's pummeled into people, it is the only option for creating a sovereign and strong nation. Besides the skills that gets transferred through the industry. That to me is probably the biggest, that's probably the greatest benefit. It's been an hour. I really want to thank all of you for hanging in there with us.
Yes.
But now you can also say you've seen Lauren on the TV.
Oh, my girls specifically like it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
especially Bethany. Shame they like it, not like it. What did I want to say? Jamalene says, I learned today OM has another purpose too. Before blowing steam, inhale slowly and say OM on a long exhale that helps calm you down. Marlene, sounds like you had a tough day.
I should be saying, who did that? It was
Ethan.
Lester Kivitt.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and Ethan.
Yeah. I think he secretly admires OM. I think he's a closet Daga Party supporter, and he found it interesting when Jeremy Acton said the Daga Party supporters must vote OM.
Interesting. I don't know. I haven't got. I have another conspiracy theory. I was just thinking now.
I hate conspiracy theories.
Not a conspiracy theory. Actually, the beginnings of our hypothesis.
Okay.
When we do the nuclear thing, we must explore what happens to nature and animals after nuclear disaster.
Yes.
And why it doesn't happen with humans.
Yeah.
And what we can deduce from that.
That's going to be fascinating.
This is almost going to be like a Thursday night thing when we do it.
Yeah. Oh, when all of this madness is over, we'll get back to all the normal things like before.
I can't wait for that, actually.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the 40 days to be over, but at the same time, there's so much to do. And tomorrow is my girl's birthday party. So it's going to be a busy 12 day. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And Lauren was away.
I was away for a birthday.
That is what it... Yeah. It's hectic.
Yeah. Macro wouldn't accept my 100 Rand. The blue light wouldn't accept it. It was too dirty. That's weird.
Yeah, I take your comment on the Bible teacher diatribe. I'll take that too. The Bible teacher does not belong in school, and neither do they belong in politics at all. You should have a right to teach your kids what you want and worship whom and what you may. That is your right.
That's a funny thing. People, so I consider myself a Christian, for instance, but most people that I know that are religious don't believe in freedom of other people to not be religious.
Yes.
So they impose. So like what I said, so there's some issues where people think, if you sin in XYZ way, you're going to hell.
Wow, Gert. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kat. But I find then don't do those things, but don't impose that on other people.
Yeah.
Like you don't do those things. If you don't believe in those things, you
be an
don't
example.
Do them. Yeah. That's weird. But anyway, the religious mindset and the political mindsets are one and the same in this country. And it's why we're not moving forward.
Yeah.
And when I say religious, I don't mean to minimize your relationship with who you worship. It's not to do with that. It's got to do with the man-made side of spirituality and worship of a higher being. It's a complex one, but I realize so much that the majority of people are really just so caught up in survival mode that there's no time, or they don't find the time to think deeper. So when they're not busy working, then they are busy vegetating. There's no time for deep diving into topics that matter.
Yeah.
And everyone that's in this live stream, we need to speak to humans on the streets, especially those not wanting to vote, and ask them probing questions like, do you believe democracy is a good form of government? If not, why not? And what do you suggest as an alternative?
If Lauren runs for president, she will have her own ideas of how to do things.
I know. I might only get 2 votes.
But that has got nothing to do with OM.
It has nothing to do with
nothing to do with
So I've noticed a talent of mine is compartmentalizing things. So I know this is OM. OM has a function and people aren't good at compartmentalizing.
No,
OM has
they
a
can't
specific
separate the two.
Purpose. So my opinion and OM's purpose are two opposites. They're not one and the same. So in OM, there's people with many different opinions on many different issues. We all need to unite and work together to bring about system change. Once system is changed, those that choose to be candidates will declare their opinions, and you can choose to vote for them or not vote for them. And that's how society is going to progress, and it's exciting stuff. And I have wild ideas, people. I don't know. Maybe I won't get a lot of support.
Don't tell me.
Yeah. Anyway.
I would absolutely vote for Lauren for president. You'll be the coolest president ever.
Yeah, I would. Declaring public holidays left, right, and centre.
No, 4-day work week. Wow.
No, I fully believe in fun. Individuality, freedom, and fun is my motto, personally.
Yeah, Lauren's, the things that come out of love, knowledge, justice, and action.
Yeah, that's the serious side.
Yeah, the serious side will be the things that come out of there. People need to enjoy life. There needs to be a way to enjoy life. And the biggest, to me, the greatest thing that Jesus taught is there should be no poor among us. And I will say that over and over. If we can achieve that, and this is what a lot of Christians don't want to hear.
No, they don't.
They don't want to hear that.
In fact, the doctrine of Jesus Christ is, dare I say,
Most Christians would kill him.
anti-capitalist.
Yeah. Would have
In a
killed
sense.
Jesus in a flash. We actually did that.
We did that, yeah.
In a member's life, where we said, how many of you would have killed him? And if you actually look at what he taught, most people would have killed him, like with a smile. So, yeah, people need to think long and hard. What a lot of people follow is not the teachings of Jesus. They follow Christianity, which was created by humans.
And you can tell because of the amount of like antagonism people have towards those
Christianity
who are
existed before Jesus came to the earth. That's the first thing you need to understand.
So, I'm glad Corin's picked up nuclear seems to be the best way forward versus solar and wind that cannot generate the power we need.
But in your own home and your businesses, solar and wind becomes an option.
But here's an important, and we'll cover this. Let's cover this in the next one.
Yeah.
I don't trust the current ruling party to build and maintain nuclear plants. But there are international bodies.
This is important. You need to understand the current ruling party cannot run nuclear power stations. This is where nuclear is different to the rest. They can stuff up with coal all they want. A nuclear power station, the building, the allowing, everything is regulated internationally by peers. That's the beauty of nuclear. They cannot screw it up. It will be shut down. Yes, you can interview me on your channel.
Because what I also
it will be shut down if you don't follow those standards. Klar.
Also, I feel like just the working culture, the internal culture of the organization.
It needs to bleed into the country.
Beautiful.
It's very important.
So I'll interview you on that.
If we kill our nuclear skills in the country, that's like the last annihilation. It's over skidovers. If you see the level of skills that's been put into society, the money that goes into society because of nuclear energy, if you take that away, you go back to the Stone Age. Never mind the Iron Age, because people jump back in leaps and bounds. We'll be back in the Stone Age.
Thanks, Marty, for that beautiful explanation on Ohm. I love hearing the different renditions of Ohm and what it means to people and what it means in the world.
Coal power stations, you can put desulfurization units in. It is expensive, but you should do it. You should not be spewing crap into the atmosphere. You should clean it up. So to me, there's no excuse to not clean up what's coming out of the coal-fired power stations. It should be done. End of story. When they spent 520 billion rand during COVID, don't tell me you cannot do XYZ. Nonsense, man.
Okay, cool. So I really think we need to wrap this up. Please go and tell everyone
Absolutely,
to vote.
Carol. I love what Carol says.
They follow religion, not Jesus. Jesus hated religion. He called out the Pharisees and religious leaders all the time. Love that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carol.
Absolutely. I have chosen in my life to follow the teachings of Jesus. Now, Christians can call that whatever they want.
Another beautiful one. For those that are Christian, we are not supposed to be like Christians. We're supposed to be like Christ.
There we go.
Big
Thank you, Jillian. Thank you. So that is what we are. And you will find Muslims, many other people out there ascribing to a lot of those values that Jesus taught. Those are universal values, and their own values are based on.
Yes, can't wait for Thursday night religion talks again.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
But I just want to end this saying that we really need to up the voter turnout.
Yeah.
And do everything. So obviously on my side,
encourage people to go and vote.
But you need to encourage and keep on. People need to hear things 6 to 9 times before they'll actually act upon it.
So just in the last 40 days, carry on, but please donate what you can. The campaign is super important. I know I'm just our own supporter, but I will donate what I can and do what I can and suffer what I can, because I want my kids to have choices in life in future. And I cannot stay in Cape Town at the moment. It is just atrocious what is happening. Besides the pollution.
The pollution is bad.
It's so bad.
It's exponentially getting worse. And then,
the freedom is just a surveillance. It's just untenable. You know, and the plans that the DA has to empower security companies to do searches in your home. These people with low IQs, that couldn't get a proper job out of school to give them power over other people is the gravest threat.
Mpumalanga needs posters. Audrey, are you able to get from Nullspread? Nullspread is the one place our printers can send it for free. Otherwise, I'm going to have to send it to you personally. But if you can get to Nullspread, let me know.
So wherever there's people that can put up posters will be sent, right?
Yes. I'll still contact all the volunteers. I'm going to have to start taking my laptop with me on my trips.
Thanks, Marlene.
Anyway, vote, says David Bernard, and that is exactly it.
Yeah, and do research. There's 52 parties on the ballot. Like Lauren said at the IEC national meeting, there's a plethora of flags at the side of the wall. Go and look at their websites and make an informed decision. There's no wasted vote. Your KZN speech was stunning. It's just the live stream was a complete non-live stream. It was Hak and Steek.
I'll post it now tonight.
Yeah, so someone did record it.
Yes,
That's
thank
awesome.
you to our Omies. I'm in Barberton. I'll go to Nullspread. Thank you, Audrey. I'll let our printers know to distribute it there.
And people can print their own posters, can't they?
Yeah, of course. But it's obviously cheaper in bulk.
Yeah.
The more you print, the cheaper it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then distribute.
Okay, yeah, everyone, challenge accepted, I hope, from everybody. Let's convince everybody to go and vote. So if you have colleagues, so not to vote home, that's separate. Just convince people to go vote.
Yes.
That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks, everyone, for
David,
your...
thanks for joining us.
Inputs.
And yeah, we'll randomly see you again.
Randomly, we can't schedule things at this stage.
No, we can't.
It's too crazy.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.